Sports presents the Southern Tier Kickoff.
You are looking live, and yes, we are back and better than ever. We welcome you to the Southern Tier Kickoff Show for another year of football this fall. Over the next 14 weeks, we will bring you the best from the gridiron across the 607 and across the entire country. I'm Zach Grady, and I thank you for starting your Saturday morning with us. From Cortland to Cornell, the Orange to the Nittany Lions, and everything in between. Tune in each week and each and every Saturday, all the way up to the College Football Conference Championship games. Plus, the Big Ten is right here all season long on WBNG. 12 Sports and the rest of the team is ready to take you from week 0 to the Big Ten Championship game at Lucas Oil Stadium. But before we get going anywhere, let's meet the rest of the team. Joining me this season, along with Michael Villegas and Keith Savage, will be our own Kevin Quinn and Kyle Spizak. Good morning, guys. Kevin, you ready for another year of football here?
Yeah, I'm ready, Zach. Maybe I should be welcoming you to this show. You know, last year doing this show was a very, very fun part of my week. I'm just excited, you know, the football season's back. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah, you're the vet. I'm the rookie here. We bring in another first-year guy. Kyle, thank you for joining us. How's your morning going here?
It's going great. I mean, the dark cloud that's been over my life since about the second week of January last year goes away this week, so can't wait. College football season's back. Best time of the year.
You mean the XFL and USFL and all the other ones didn't do it for you?
NFL doesn't even count to me.
We have a lot to talk about today, and let's start off with our top games of the day. Of course, those are the ones that mean the most to you here in the Southern Tier. Kevin, what's the big one that people can look forward to tonight?
Well, let's head up I-81 where the Syracuse Orange are hosting the Ohio Bobcats for their home opener. The Orange getting their season rolling as heavy favorites in this one before they host 2 conference opponents in the next 2 weeks. It's the official start of the Fran Brown era at Syracuse this afternoon as the former Georgia defensive backs coach takes over the reins from Dino Babers. The Orange hoping for a winning season, and they need one, finishing with a winning record in just 5 of their last 22 seasons. Their schedule could be their best friend this season, avoiding top ACC teams like Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina. And some keys to this game. It's the first game for prized Ohio State transfer quarterback Kyle McCord. Get him comfortable in this offense, air the ball out, and good things will happen. The Orange will want to get their star tight end, Rondé Gadsden, involved as well. He can wreak havoc both through the air and on the ground and get out to an early lead, control the football, and dominate this one from start to finish. Ahead of this one, Coach Brown says he's not underestimating the Bobcats.
Well, we just focused on us and just trying to make sure that each and every individual that I could coach it out of them to be the best version of myself, to allow them to be the best version of them. So just trying to coach the best out of each kid. We have a good team coming in the house, coming to play. They're known for taking out Power 4 schools, you know, and being able to win and do a good job. And I think their coach is just, I mean, like I said, guys, he's been coaching since I was 7, so he might have forgot more football than I know.
All right, we're going to make our picks on this game later on this afternoon, or well, later on this morning, as we have about a half hour here. But Kevin, what can we expect? What are you looking forward to in this matchup?
What I'm looking forward to the most is just seeing how Kyle McCord looks under center for the Orange. Hopefully he's comfortable in this one, able to air the ball out. In the last few seasons, the Orange have relied heavily on that ground attack, not really had that prize quarterback under center. People say, you know, he wasn't good enough for Ohio State, but I think he's good enough for the Orange.
All right, Kevin, you're talking about the offensive side of the ball. Kyle, we'll go to you. What did the Syracuse defense bring this year?
Really, they added a little bit of size on the line, which was kind of their big issue last year when they went up against those teams like a Clemson. Really just the size difference. When you're going up against guys who are double your size on the line, it's hard to get to the QB, can't get any pressure on it. Now adding a little bit of size there, and defensive backs as well. They're going to be able to lock down receivers on other teams a lot better this year than they were last year. And really their pass defense was a big problem last year. Clemson really aired the ball out on them like it was nothing, and that kind of was the kicking point for the rough part of their season. And then obviously can't even mention the bowl game last year, which was just a disaster against USF.
All right, Kyle, I will stay here with you. As you had mentioned the defense here, I know the big name transfer is on the quarterback side, on the offensive side, but who knew on the defensive side? What can we look forward to seeing defensively from the Orange this year?
Honestly, I think just really it's more returners than anything else this year. The cornerbacks returning this year, just getting that experience, those reps. They have really just more time that they've been able to learn the system. Fran Brown coming in, he was a defensive guy, really just able to kind of bring this defense back to the standard that they were in, say, 2017, where they did peak at number 12 in the nation, and they were able to shut down other teams, Miami and Clemson those years. Really good games that they battled, and just being able to lock down defense is going to be a huge point for the Orange this year.
Awesome, and I look forward to getting your guys' picks on that game later on this afternoon. But that's not the only one we're looking at. Let's go a little bit south of New York. We're going to go beyond the border to Pennsylvania. Kyle, what can you tell us about the Penn State game that's coming up today?
Yeah, Zach, and the Nittany Lions kick off their 2024 campaign today at noon down in Morgantown, West Virginia, in a rematch of last year's season opener. The Nittany Lions are looking to make a bounce back after ending last year's season on a rough note with a 38-25 loss against Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl. Drew Aller is returning for his third year in the blue and white alongside the 1-2 punch backfield duo of Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. The question at hand, though, is how will the Penn State O-line hold up after losing key pieces like Olu Fashanu to the NFL draft? Morgantown has been buzzing since yesterday, with Pat McAfee getting the Mountaineers fans hyped for big noon kickoff today. Aller has shown some weakness when it comes to big game atmosphere last season, so how will the junior quarterback fare against a rowdy Milan Pusker Stadium today? And now keys to the game for Penn State. They have to buy time at the line. This is a new-looking offensive line for the Lions, and they need to buy time for Singleton and Allen to be able to get through the line. They have to avoid Garrett Green from scrambling, with Green picking up 708 yards on the ground last season for the Mountaineers. And lastly, they need to kill the intensity as soon as possible. Mountaineers fans have been pre-gaming this matchup since noon yesterday. Killing the noise early on will be essential.
Our focus now is directly on West Virginia and making sure that we're in the best position to go win at a place that I got a ton of respect for. I think Neil Brown's done a great job. I think it's a very, very challenging place to play.
All right, Kevin, challenging place to play. Penn State hitting the road, but I mean, come on, whiteout game. College football, they're the #1 place to play, toughest place to play, CFP 25. But what can Penn State expect as they hit the road this weekend?
Well, I think what Penn State can expect, like we saw there, that noise in West Virginia is going to be a problem. This could be one of their tougher road games, especially not in conference this year. But where it really matters for Penn State is picking up these wins early, because once they get into their conference play, those teams, the Michigans, the Ohio States, they've had a lot of trouble with them in the past years. So it's really picking up a game that you should win now, making sure that your season could be set up to potentially make that college football playoff later.
All right, I'm going to follow up there. You mentioned Michigan, you mentioned Ohio State, some of those teams that they've had issues with in the past. There's a lot of new faces as well in the Big Ten this year, especially out on the West Coast. How do you think these long road trips are going to fare for the Nittany Lions?
I think the place that I would be scared to go for any team in the Big Ten is going to Oregon, playing that offense with Dylan Gabriel under center. That's my team that I think everybody should be on the lookout for in the Big Ten this year, because these West Coast teams that are coming in are going to add a whole new layer of competition for these teams that have been playing, year after year.
Kyle, same thing. Where does Penn State most have to worry as you look at their schedule this season?
Ohio State's always going to be the #1 team on their schedule. Michigan taking a bit of a hit from their championship team last year. Ohio State only got better from last year. Will Howard's coming in, taking over the helm from Kyle McCord. But then you have the add of Quinshon Judkins at running back, just outstanding his first 2 seasons at Ole Miss, and he ran Penn State down the middle all Peach Bowl game last year. So they have to watch out for Quinshon Judkins. And then on defense, Caleb Downs joining from Alabama, transferring over, the #1 freshman defensive back in the entire nation last year. You add that onto the defense, it's going to be hard, and especially for a Penn State team that really, the air game has been their problem for the last couple of years. Aller has come in, he is probably the best quarterback that they've had natural talent-wise in the last 5-6 years. But the problem is receivers never are able to stack up against other teams' defensive backs when it comes to Ohio State, Michigan. They just can't get any separation.
No, you mentioned it absolutely. Whether it be Ohio State, whether it be Michigan, it seems like that big game can't be the one that Penn State gets over. Now, big difference, though, this year, not 6 playoff spots. Penn State actually would have made the CFP playoff in most of the last few years if we were in this 12-team format as you see now. So I think that's going to be a big advantage for James Franklin, for the Nittany Lions. It's going to take a little bit of pressure off in those big games. Look, James Franklin still needs to win against Michigan. He still needs to win against Ohio State. And even though they have been a power team, they need some big wins, or James Franklin may start feeling the hot seat in Happy Valley. We're going to take a timeout right now, but don't go anywhere. Still ahead on STK. We pick the winners from the biggest games kicking off this weekend. Plus, the Raiders opened up their season last night in New England. We have all the highlights from Colgate's season opener against the Maine Black Bears. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.